So this is a 1942 model. And it was finished in the spring of 43 in Buffalo, New York. That's where they were built. And then it was immediately shipped over to New Guinea. It flew in the 49th Fighter Group off the 30-mile base. The pilot's name was Joel Thorvaldsen. He was a lieutenant at the time. And on September 13th, he got into a horrendous dogfight, and he shot down a Zero fighter and a Betty bomber, and he got a second probable Zero. So this aircraft actually has pedigree. That's something that's very, very unusual, something you don't see very much of, because most of the aircraft with actual combat history were left in theater to be recycled. So after that, he took around to the engine, and the propeller oversped. He lost control of the engine, and he was forced to put down in a field next to a river to the jungle. He was successful. He crawled out. His arm got hurt a little bit, but he ended up torching the radio with his flare gun. And then he had a jungle knife that he tried to hack his way out of the jungle. Didn't work. It was too congested for him. So he came back to the wreckage the next day, and his buddies were then circling the wreckage, and he saw him. So they tossed a life raft, and some provisions out. So he grabbed that and floated downstream of the river for 5 days, evading the enemy capture. And the Japanese were after him at that point because he knew what he'd done. So he evaded capture, and he was picked up by the Australians. He continued flying through the war, and actually became a full-bird colonel by the time Vietnam came around, and he retired. He didn't pass waste.
I mean, people love this P-40. It's a unique aircraft, and you don't get, and even these, another highlight I would say, you see the line over there, people love walking through the bigger aircraft.
Oh, yeah.
The Beach City Baby, they take a donation, but they allow you to actually get in there, go up and sit in the cockpit. Like that's probably one of the highlights for the guests. I love seeing these two, because I'm a history buff. These are World War II aircraft, but I think the guests, in addition to that, like getting in the aircraft. And they can do that with our aircraft as well. Most of the aircraft the museum owns or has on loan, people can get into. It's like the opposite of most museums, where things are stanchioned off and you have white gloves on and you can't touch anything. We're definitely more of a hands-on museum.